There's a version of you that most people never see. Not the one that shows up, gets things done, holds it together. Not the one that checks in on others, laughs at the right moments, says I'm fine when someone asks. The version I mean is the one that gets home at the end of the day, sits somewhere quiet, maybe the edge of a couch, maybe the floor, and just stops. Not because anything particular happened, but because something inside has been running for a very long time without a break. If that sounds familiar, this video is for you. A lot of people carry more than they show, and the interesting thing is, they often don't realize how much they've been carrying until their body decides to remind them. It might come as sudden exhaustion after a period of being fine, or a kind of flatness where good things happen but don't quite land, or a restlessness that shows up the moment things get quiet, like stillness has become unfamiliar. These aren't signs that something is wrong with you. They're signs that something worked hard inside you for a long time, and now it's asking to be acknowledged. Here's something psychology helps explain. When a person goes through sustained stress, whether that's instability at home, early loss, prolonged emotional pressure, or just years of having to manage more than their fair share, the brain doesn't just experience that. It reorganizes around it. The nervous system, which governs how we respond to threat and safety, begins recalibrating. It becomes faster at detecting risk, sharper, more vigilant. It starts reading rooms, tracking moods, anticipating problems before they arrive. And, for a while, maybe a long while, that adaptation is genuinely useful. It keeps you safe. It makes you perceptive. It turns you into someone who knows almost instinctively when something is off. But the nervous system doesn't always know when the danger has passed. So it keeps running the same program. In new places, with new people, in situations that are actually fine. This is part of why people who've been through a lot can seem like contradictions. They may seem easygoing, but they're often monitoring everything around them without realizing it. They may seem detached, but internally, they feel more than they ever let on. They may seem like they have it figured out, but that composure was often built, not through ease, but through repetition, through having no other option but to keep going. And something else happens too. People who've been through too much often become deeply attuned to others. They notice when someone's voice tightens. They sense the shift in a room when something goes unspoken. They know what it feels like to be overlooked or dismissed, so they work hard not to make others feel that way. They become the ones people turn to, the reliable ones, the steady ones, the ones who somehow always know what to say. But here's the part that doesn't get talked about enough. Being the steady one is exhausting when no one is being steady for you. Knowing how to hold space for everyone else, while not quite knowing how to ask for it yourself, that's a particular kind of loneliness. One that doesn't always look like loneliness from the outside, because you've gotten so good at functioning through it. And in relationships, this can create patterns that are hard to name. You may want closeness, genuinely, but find yourself hesitating at the threshold of it. Not because you're cold or closed off, but because the moments when you've opened up in the past haven't always been safe. So you move carefully. You give a lot, but hold something back. You wait for the other shoe to drop even when things are going well. You apologize before you've done anything wrong. You make yourself smaller so you won't need too much. None of this is a flaw. It's a pattern that made sense once. And patterns that made sense once tend to stick around even when the original reason for them is long gone. The hard thing, and also, in a way, The hopeful thing is that none of this is permanent. The brain that reorganized itself around difficulty can reorganize again, not by forgetting what happened, not by toughening up further, but by gradually, gently, learning that new evidence is available, that this person is consistent, that this SPI is safe, that rest is not a trap, that needing something doesn't make you a burden. That learning takes time. It doesn't happen in a single conversation or a single decision, but it happens. And often the people who've been through the most carry something that others are still working to develop. A kind of depth, a fluency with pain that makes them patient, perceptive, and quietly generous with the people around them. That's not nothing. That's actually a great deal. But you don't have to keep spending it on everyone else while keeping nothing in reserve. Healing, real healing, isn't about becoming someone who has moved on. It's about becoming someone who no longer